I think everybody that is supposed to have a seat has a seat. I want to welcome all of you, and I'm Barbara Boyan. I'm the Dean of the college. Everybody can be seated, and I'm going to turn this over to our Senior Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Dr. Gregory Triplett.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Virginia Commonwealth University College of Engineering commencement ceremony. Today, we gather to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2020 and 2021. My name is Gregory Triplett. I'm the Senior Associate Dean of Academic Affairs in the College of Engineering. On behalf of the College of Engineering, President Michael Rao, the Board of Visitors, our faculty and staff, it is a pleasure to welcome you to this afternoon's commencement. So a few house rules. It's COVID, so every attendee is expected to wear a mask during the ceremony. Please stay in your seats during the entire ceremony, and please avoid congregating in a theater. Here's the good news. It's perfectly acceptable to celebrate your graduates. Loud noises are permitted. Great, okay. I will now introduce those who share the platform party with me today. I ask that these members rise as you are recognized and remain standing. Kindly hold your applause until the end of the introductions. Hank Donahue, Chair, Biomedical Engineering. Frank Gupton, Chair, Chemical and Life Science Engineering. Christoph Seals, Chair, Computer Science. John Leonard, Executive Dean. Ram Gupta, Associate Dean for Faculty Development. We are also joined by members of our outstanding faculty and committed folks. Would you all please stand as well? Thank you. You may be seated. We will introduce the remaining platform party members when it is appropriate. As one might imagine, our accomplishments this year are the result of teamwork. The countless hours, the problem solving, the resourcefulness, the responsiveness, the dedication, the infinite Zoom calls, the healthcare. Graduates, please show thanks to the faculty, staff, student workers, graduate assistants, librarians, facilities, the cleaning crew, the emergency responders. Let's give them a round of applause. Last year was indeed a very unique year. We did not have an in-person graduation ceremony for the first time. As we approached the spring, we made a decision in the College of Engineering that we would have an in-person graduation using every single resource, even if it lasted several days. We had three essential goals. One, graduates would be able to walk across the stage. Two, families could attend. And three, we would provide photo opportunities. Well, when preparation meets opportunity, good things happen. I would like to personally thank every member of the College of Engineering, the Engineering Graduation Task Force, facilities, the finance team, VCU's Incident Coordination Team, VCU's Public Health Response Team, the VCU administration, the School of Dentistry for donating flowers you see across the stage, and the Altria Theater for helping us celebrate you today. Family and friends, we especially thank you today for your emotional support, financial support, confidence, prayers, understanding, patience, and follow-through. It is because of you that all of this is possible. Graduates, please stand and express your gratitude to those members. Families, they're going to do better. Okay. To those attending by live stream throughout the state, the US, and across the globe, our corporate partners, our donors, these VCU engineering graduates are ready to take on a new challenge. We thank you for supporting the College of Engineering and helping us move the needle forward. To the class of 2020 and 2021, we thank you. You have persevered through so many challenges. Every year, commencement speakers claim this is the class that has been most challenged. Move over. The bar has been raised. Graduates, you were challenged, you conquered, you earned this. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, I welcome to the podium the Dean of the VCU College of Engineering, Dr. Barbara Boyne. She is our fearless leader. She represents everything that we stand for, and it's through her that all things are possible. So I want to bring you to the stage and say thank you on behalf of the students.
Pretty nice. Hi. Yes, this is my opportunity. Dr. Triplett gave me 8 minutes and he told me I could talk about anything I wanted to, but this is such a special year. I did not do a prepared speech. I thought I would just talk to you from my heart. As I look out at you, I have to tell you something. All my life, I've wondered when the actors are on the stage, can they see us? The answer is no. They cannot see you. The lights are so bright. And I was surprised when you all stood up, you're all out there. But we can see your families and they're sitting up there in the upper, up high, and they're looking down on you with tremendous pride. And we back here, the colleagues, my co-deans, the chairs of your departments, the faculty, we're all looking at you with pride too. And I think you know that. I think you know that this year was unbelievably different from anything that has gone before and things that will happen after. So we have a lot of new traditions here that we have started. One of the things is social distancing during graduation. Another thing that's different is finding your seat during graduation, watching you file in and struggle to figure out where you're going to sit. But we have some old traditions. You may not know that this is not our first time here in the Altria Theater for graduation. When this college began, it began as the School of Engineering. It was a public-private partnership. Businesses in the area came together with the university and the legislature and declared that there was going to be a College of Engineering. And they created the first buildings. They raised money. The funding that went into most of what began this school was raised by people in the community, all the way up from Northern Virginia down to the very bottom parts of Virginia, who said that there should be an engineering school in Richmond. And in those old days, they used to have graduation here in the Altria Theater, but it wasn't called Altria then. And the graduation wasn't in this wonderful, beautiful room, but it was right here in this building. So I think it's fitting on our 25th birthday as a College of Engineering that we be back. Now, this is special because we're only 25 once. And in fact, our College of Engineering is about the same age as many of you. But it says something about Richmond. It says something about the family, and it says something about the way that this particular School of Engineering, this College of Engineering, is so much a part of the community and so much a part of Virginia. There are many of you here that are not from Virginia. I'm not saying you have to be from Virginia to be cool, but you need to know that while you're here at VCU, you are definitely in Virginia. You're definitely in Richmond. You're definitely downtown Richmond. And it's a great feeling to be back here in the Altria Theater. Now, what was so different about this year? Of course, we don't have to be rocket scientists to figure out we went remote. And it started in 2020, which is why we're celebrating both years in graduation, and it's carried itself through this year. Your faculty, they turned on a dime. All of a sudden, one day they were teaching you face-to-face, and the next day they were teaching you by computer. And you turned on a dime. You were coming in, doing your projects here at school, interacting directly with your faculty, and the next day you were at home or wherever it was that you lived or tried to live, and all of a sudden you had to figure out how to go to take your courses virtually. And you did it. Now, I think that is amazing how quickly we handled this pandemic. It is something we will remember for the rest of our lives. This is a sea change that has happened here in our world. It will never be the same as it was before March over a year ago. It will always be this particular year, 2020 to 2021, where we had to learn to live differently. And I think we did it with style, and we did it with a sense of family. We came together in so many ways. You have so impressed me. You not only managed to learn the things you needed to learn to become engineers, but you have contributed back to your community in so many ways. You have helped teachers teach in elementary school, middle school, and high school. You've joined clubs and helped young people find things to do in the afternoon to learn better how to deal with their own trials and tribulations. You have created new technologies that otherwise would never have existed if we hadn't had this crucible of the pandemic. And I'm totally impressed for those of you who pursued graduate education or getting your PhDs today, that you managed to do really cutting edge research in such a horrible situation, that you were able to not only do this work, but publish the work and tell the world what you were doing. And nothing has been easy. So I'm reminded of this wonderful person. I listened to his music, even now he's passed away. His name is Leonard Cohen. And Leonard Cohen was a poet before he was a musician. And he has a song, it's called Anthem, which I think is appropriate. And there's a line in there that says, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And I think COVID taught us that. It was dark. It is dark. There's nothing positive to be said about the illness and the horrible things that have happened because of COVID, but other good things have come out of it that we've learned how to do. And we've learned how to do them, not because we wanted to, because we had to, but those things are going to take us forward into the future. So I'm proud of all of you. I find today particularly emotional because it's coming to an end of a very difficult time. We can be outside and not wear masks, and we can be in this room today on May 16th because our governor said we could increase the number of people who could attend, and so we could give that back to you so that more members of your family could be with us. I think it's a sense today, a magical sense that we might be coming to the end and starting something new, something different, and something very exciting. And you're about to go out into that very exciting as RAM engineers. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you all. And I can wax poetic for longer than 8 minutes, Dr. Triplett, so I'm glad you gave me a time frame. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming. I'm so, so proud of you. Back to you, Dr. Triplett.
Thank you very much, Dean Boyne. Each year, we offer special recognition to individuals who have graduated with honors. 164 of our graduates this year have Latin honors, and 21 have a 4.0. Students who will graduate cum laude with a GPA of a 3.3 to a 3.59, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Students who will graduate magna cum laude with a GPA of a 3.6 to 3.89, please stand and be recognized. Students who will graduate summa cum laude with a GPA of a 3.9 to 4.0, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. We also offer special recognition to individuals in our student organizations. Will all members in student organizations please stand and be recognized? For those of you who don't know, the student organizations are the heartbeat of our college. So thank you for your service. In the College of Engineering, we also aspire to make a difference in the community. Graduates, if you have participated in community service, please stand and be recognized. Family and friends, please understand that VCU-trained engineers are part of a very accomplished group. Graduates, if you have received awards for research, for teaching, for service, if you pursued entrepreneurial activities, if you're in the military, please rise and be recognized. Thank you so much. We've had to make a number of accommodations this year. One of them involves a longstanding tradition of hooding your graduates. PhD graduates have a very special bond with their advisor. The academic advisor has the last action, and that is to hood the graduate and wish them well as they enter the workforce. Due to COVID protocols, we are unable to honor that tradition this year. As the saying goes, never waste a crisis. The College of Engineering is the only school and college on campus that is executing any kind of hooding activity. So we were creative, as engineers do. We understand the binary conditions. So the College of Engineering has asked each graduate to identify a family member to hood them. This will be the most special moment in their lifetime. We want to thank everyone who will participate in this activity. All right, so I want to give you a heads up here. So everybody turn your ears on. Our keynote speaker today is a one of a kind. He's truly a gem. If you don't know about him, you will in a few minutes. Dr. Frank Gupton is known for many things. He tells great stories, long stories. If you ever want to see what's happening, look him up on YouTube. You'll learn a lot. And what's really interesting about the college is we don't have to look very far for someone to send us a message. Sometimes we have everything we need in-house. And this year we have a special treat, Dr. Frank Gupton, who's going to give the keynote address for the class of 2020 and class of 2021. Frank Gupton.
Graduates of the College of Engineering for 2020 and 2021, I salute you. You all embody the principles of persistence being a virtue, and you are to be congratulated. So as it is a tradition in a lot of these types of ceremonies, they asked for a commencement speaker. And Gregory twisted my left arm to do this, but it didn't take much of a twist to do it because this is a very special group. And the role of that speaker is to provide you pearls of wisdom as you transition from academia into the real world. And so I tried to think of some seminal moments in my career that I could pass on to you that will be short. And my expectation is that you parents and you students hoop it up, because normally when we have these types of graduations, it is a raucous celebration, and I miss that. So please do not hesitate to scream and holler while I'm talking, okay? So the thing I thought about first, as far as one of those things that has carried me through life, is that I had some great mentors during my career in industry. And one of them was a gentleman named Harry Omer. And Harry and I were out at a plant in Texas. It was probably one of the largest chemical plants in the world. It was gigantic. And we pulled up behind this car, and Harry turned to me, and I maybe had been out of graduate school a year or so. And he said, Frank, he said, take a look at that bumper sticker in front of you, on the car in front of you. And I looked at it and he said, that should become your credo in life for the rest of your career. And the bumper sticker said, life is what you make of plan B. Now, here's the last test that you're going to have as a student here at VCU. And I want you to be bluntly honest with us. How many of you graduates had VCU as not your number one choice? And I want you to raise your hand and be honest. Come on. Come on. I know, there you go. All right, guys. Listen, the point of this is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the fact that you didn't, VCU wasn't your first choice, didn't disappoint you. And it shows how life can evolve in ways you never expected. So I think about it from the standpoint of why I'm standing here with you today. I worked for 32 years in the chemical and the pharmaceutical industry. And one of the great achievements that you have get recognized is to be able to retire early. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but we all had strived for that. I got to retire when I was 58. And I was happily retired. I was playing golf. I was playing with my grandkids and going fishing. And my wife and I had built a house in our hometown of Virginia Beach back on the water, and we planned on moving back down there. Very good, you Virginia Beach grads. So the point was that I got a call from the two deans, the dean of the engineering school and the dean of the humanities and sciences, asking me if I would take a joint appointment between chemistry and chemical engineering. And to this day, I swear my wife called them and told them to get me out of the house. But that being said, it was probably the greatest plan B that I've ever had in my entire life. To be here today, standing on the stage and talking to you graduates, I am so proud of each and every one of you. But I'll tell you a little bit about the journey that I had once I got here. And it's about talking to people. One of the other things that I learned when I was in industry, they made me take a course in effective negotiations. And one of the things they said, and one of the most important things they said was, if you want to get a no, send a letter, an email, or a text message. If you want to get a maybe, make a phone call. If you want to get a yes, do a face-to-face. It's tough for people not to say no to you face-to-face. And that's something I hope that each and every one of you in this generation will embrace, because it's something that it's not natural to you. So with that in mind, I had been here about maybe 3 or 4 years. And one of the last things I did when I was in industry was to develop a process for one of the world's most widely prescribed HIV drugs. So through a series of connections, and you can't make this stuff up, my neighbor who owned a leather boot company in Jakarta was on a plane sitting next to this guy telling him about his leather boot company. He turned to the guy and he said, "What do you do?" And the guy said, "Well, I'm kind of in global healthcare." And he said, you mean like HIV drugs? And he said, yeah, just like HIV drugs. He said, well, have you ever heard of a drug called nevirapine? And he said, yes, one of the world's most widely prescribed HIV drugs. He said, well, my neighbor developed the process to make that. He said, you're kidding. He says, is he still at BI? And he said, no, he's at VCU. That gentleman was the head of the Clinton Health Access Initiative. The next day, his chief technology officer was in my office and gave me our initial grant. That led to another discussion that I found they'd gotten their money from the Gates Foundation. A year later, the Gates Foundation gave us a $5 million grant to work at reinventing that process for that drug. And that led to 3 other $5 million grants and ultimately a $25 million grant that we got to establish the Medicines for All Institute here at VCU. It's a one-of-a-kind institute trying to figure out how we can increase access to healthcare across the globe. And we are, thank you. So there are so many other stories I can tell you, and Barbara knows them all, so I won't bore you with them. But the other one I want to mention to you is a story that started in 2018 through a series of casual conversations that I had with some of my colleagues out in the industrial community about how we might be able to start onshoring essential drugs back into the United States and also in Africa. And through one thing led to another. And in February of 2020, I got a call from the government. And they asked us, how could we reshore essential drugs manufacturing back in the United States? And I gave them a blueprint to do that. And they basically swarmed downtown Richmond on a Saturday with 17 members of the leadership group at the White House. And they said, we want to do this. 2 days later, they called us and said, we have $360 million for you to start this project. So Central Virginia will become the epicenter for pharmaceutical manufacturing in the United States and that technology. And if I'd stayed playing golf, we never would have been doing this kind of stuff. So these are the things that I think about when I think about my plan B and ending up here at VCU. But last, the other thing I would encourage each and every one of you to do is to read Malcolm Gladwell's work. He's one of my favorite authors, and 3 of his books in particular I think are really important for you to read. One is The Tipping Point, and it's basically the blueprint for how I got that grant from the Gates Foundation. The second one is a book called Outliers, and I consider myself an outlier. I was in a unique position at a unique point in time when COVID hit to be able to address an unmet need. And that allowed me to be able to move that forward. And the third one is more about VCU. It's called David and Goliath. And the premise of that book is that if David fights under Goliath's rules, Goliath wins every time. But if David finds his own space where he can win, David will win more times than not. And the interesting thing about that is that Dean Boyan loves to brag about the fact that MIT is a sub-award contractor to us. And that speaks volumes about what it is we're doing here. We've created space where other people aren't. If we try to compete with MIT in their space, we'll lose. But if we create our own space, then we are going to be successful. Now, my closing comments to you on this is my wife and I were driving up from the beach this morning, and she told me she knew what I was going to talk about today. And she said, look at that bumper sticker there. And she said, you need to weave that into your talk. And the bumper sticker said, live your story. Each and every one of you has been given specific skill sets that's going to allow you to live your story for the rest of your life. And I would encourage you to do that in a robust manner to represent both the College of Engineering, VCU, and all the academic communities around. You're going to do great things. I want to wish you all the best, Godspeed, and congratulations.
For the record, Frank was my plan A. Thanks. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about the hooding tradition. I want to announce now for those select members who are in attendance, who will be participating in the hooding of the PhD graduates, please make your way to the orchestra level now and stand at the top of the ramp until the PhD graduates are called. Thank you. At this time, I want to introduce our alumni speaker, because all of you are alumni as of today. So this is accurate. Okay. Stephanie Fullenwinder Bilyeu is a proud VCU College of Engineering alumna, having achieved her Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering in 2018. After many years in the restaurant business and in video production, she returned to college in her original love, engineering, and the pursuit of how things work. At WSP, she turned an internship into a full-time position, designing mechanical systems for hospitals and healthcare facilities, including the VCU health system. When not diving into the fine print of ASHRAE books, Stephanie keeps Lowe's and Home Depot in business with her ongoing home renovations. At times when there isn't a global pandemic, she enjoys traveling with her husband and going to concerts of obscure 80s bands with her high school friends. Stephanie has been a member of the College of Engineering Alumni Board since graduation, and she joins us as incoming Vice President of the College of Engineering Alumni Board. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Dean Boyen, Dr. Triplett, faculty, parents, spouses, partners, grandparents, extended family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2020 and the class of 2021. Congratulations. Not only has all of your hard work and perseverance paid off, but you did this through the filter of a global pandemic. I remember the stresses of completing assignments, studying for tests, and trying to manage my personal life. But I cannot imagine what it has been like for you all to try to do this and stay safe. So this celebration is even sweeter because of all that you have endured. Today is commencement, the beginning of a new stage of your life. At some point, hopefully, when you catch your breath, you'll have time to reflect on where you are in your life journey. As Dr. Triplett said, I am an older graduate. I started my college career in 1986. I graduated at age 50, which means that I have purses that are older than some of our graduates here. I am around the age of most of your parents, but I share your experience as a recent graduate. So it's from this place that I'd like to share a few thoughts with you. If you're young, it feels like you have a long stretch ahead of you, and you do, but you don't really. I can tell you that time moves very, very quickly. So far, you've just had to concern yourself with getting this education, paying for it, and possibly keeping up your role in your family, all at the same time. But now you get to work on your life. And like all good projects, you have to have a goal. So like Dr. Gupta, I have one last assignment for you. This is one that will last your whole lifetime. That goal must be something big, so big that you won't accomplish it. The goal has two parts. Be the best version of yourself and leave your corner of the world better than you found it. That's the meaning of life. That's it. Be the best version of yourself and leave things better than you found it. So how do you do this? First of all of you are graduating with this powerful and rare education. Only 5.9% of all college graduates major in engineering. We live in a time in which your knowledge is the most sought after. So hang in there if you don't have a job yet. We have many, many problems that need to be solved, and all of you are in a position to help solve them. Simply by doing your job, you could be making the world a better place. But sometimes this is not enough. Sometimes you have to give back. And that can mean mentoring others, sharing your experiences with current students, being involved. A lot of you have already done this as undergraduates and graduate students, and it's a wonderful thing. But I speak to you as the incoming vice president of the College of Engineering Alumni Board. What is that? Like, what is that? What do they do? So we volunteer with different events throughout the school year, helping students with mock interviews, reviewing resumes, sharing our experiences through career panels, just being involved. We have a monthly networking event, third Thursdays. You can meet alumni, network, connect with your old friends, and have a beer. But why does volunteering matter? It matters because there are going to be times in your new career when things are a little bit rough. Maybe you have a lot of deadlines or you have a really demanding boss with whom you don't see eye to eye. But when you give a little bit of your time and help students, you'll get a boost. Helping others cures the blues. And you're making the world a better place. And that helps you be a better version of yourself, which helps make the world a better place. I think you get the idea. Another nice thing about volunteering is you actually get to come back to school without the pressure of a test or having to turn in a lab or a homework assignment. So it's actually quite nice. So I highly recommend that. And it's a really nice way to reconnect with your friends, getting them involved in school and just kind of keeping contact with people that you went to school with. I joined shortly after graduating. My goal was to stay connected to current students. That was what I really wanted to do. Why is this? It's because when I first went to college in 1986, I did not have the support that I needed. I was discouraged from engineering because, as my dad said, they won't hire you because they don't hire women engineers. And even if they do hire you, you may get some unwanted attention that you don't like very much. Thankfully, society is evolving. Women are present in all work environments, but we're still underrepresented in engineering. So ladies, you're graduating today, you have this knowledge. We need you. We need you in the fields in which you're going into. We need you to develop your career. We need you to stay with that career, whether you have families or don't have families. Younger women need to see your presence out in the work world. I didn't have that. Dean Boyan didn't have that. So it's up to you all now to take the strides that the women who came ahead of you have paved the way for you, so that all you have to do is be your brilliant selves. So I really, really encourage you to be present, be in your career, and mentor younger women in your fields. There's another reason that I stay involved and why I volunteer. 12 years ago, I had cancer. I was lucky. I caught it early, and I've been cancer-free ever since. But a week before my surgery, a dear friend from high school lost her battle with breast cancer. Susie was 43, married, and had 2 young boys. She was not only a lawyer and a CPA, but she was beautiful inside and out. She, who had everything to live for, died, and I survived. So just a little bit of survival guilt there. I took it as a sign that I was not yet finished with my journey. After my clean bill of health, I decided to live life fully, to fulfill my goals and my dreams, no matter what anybody thought about those things or thought about me. Unlike Susie, I didn't have a husband and children at the time. Legacy for me means helping others achieve their goals, hopefully a little sooner than I have achieved mine. Another area that you can make the world a little bit of a better place is financial. The college was created through this public-private partnership, and our college and our programs, rely not only on tuition, but on the donation of alumni and other people in the community. I know that a lot of you are graduating with student debt. I have student debt. But maybe at some point when you sell your first patent, you can join the ranks of the alumni and give back to school. Maybe get a building named after yourself or something. But there's different ways that you can support more immediately. For instance, this spring, the Alumni Board co-sponsored a Pie Day event. You could donate money in pie increments and pay for a cream pie to be thrown at the professor of your choice. So if you had an especially tough semester, I might be calling you next year. We donated that money to the completion grant. And for those of you who aren't familiar, the completion grant is awarded to students who need gap funds to graduate. I was actually one of the first recipients. My second to last semester, I needed to enroll for my last semester to graduate, of course. But even with financial aid, there was a shortfall of $1,300 that was owed on my account. And if it's still the same way it was when I was here, if you have a balance due on your account, they don't allow you to register for next semester's classes. I already had an internship lined up, but it was predicated on me having a certain schedule that semester. We didn't have the $1,300. And let me just say, my husband has always had a really good job, but because there had been a shortfall every semester for years, we kept making up the difference. But we were pretty tapped out at this point. We had a few $100s from our tax return, but we needed to pay for heating oil for our house. So my choice was keep my house or pay on my tuition balance. I decided to heat the house. I felt pretty ashamed to even bring it up, but I was desperate. So I went to go see Jennifer Rivers, my patron saint. She and some others found the money to cover my balance, and I was able to graduate on time. We've kind of we've been able to formulate that into what the completion grant is now. I donate back to this fund every single year because I really believe in paying it forward to the next students, because we needed all of you to graduate. And maybe right now, maybe later, you can also be a donor and join our ranks. You're building your legacy, whether it's through donations, whether it's through volunteering, whether it's through mentoring younger people. It's all part of your legacy, no matter what your journey is. And if you take breaks in the middle of it and come back, whatever that is. So in closing, I'm going to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. The one who plants trees, knowing that he or she will never sit in their shade, has at least started to understand the meaning of life. I look forward to all of your accomplishments, large and small. It's been my honor to speak to you today, the graduating class of 2020 and the class of 2021. May the road rise with you, and may the wind forever be at your back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie. The moment we've all been waiting for. I now introduce Ms. Jennifer Rivers, who will present our graduates.
Good evening, everyone. You know, it's wonderful to stand here in the Altria Theater. We're here where stars and legends have walked the stage. And today, you are the star. So if you're ready, and I hope you are ready, let's start the show. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Engineering please rise and come to the stage? Remy Cooper, and Remy is being hooded by her father, Mark Cooper. Yes, you can follow around. Otto Jewell. Otto was being hooded by his father, Otto Jewell III. Jatin Narang. Jatin is being hooded by his wife, yes, by his fiance. I'm sorry, I'm going too fast. Fiance, Jul Kamar. Thomas Pettit. Thomas is being hooded by his mother, Janice Pettit. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Chemical and Life Science Engineering please rise and come to the stage? Abigail Casey. Abigail is being hooded today by her husband, Brian Fry. Sayantan Pradhan. Sayantan is being hooded by his fiancee, Payusha Hargare. Okay, will the candidates for the degree of for the degree of philosophy and computer science, please rise and come to the stage. Prateep Rana. Prateep is being hooded by his friend, Miranmoy Das. Kajmoinuddin Syed is being hooded by his wife, Arshia Anjum. Ashish Dungana. Ashish is being hooded by his friend Dennis.
Yeah.
Akila Kadwavala. Akila is being hooded by his girlfriend Kalani. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering please rise and come to the stage? Olajumoka Harrison. Georgina Alafe Miller. Ermaeus Zena. Will the candidates for Master of Science in Chemical and Life Science Engineering please rise and come to the stage? Do we have anyone with us today? Okay. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Computer Science please rise and come to the stage? Gavin Joseph Alberghini. Cody Freeman. Saurabh Vadlamani. Sumaya Gullah. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Engineering please rise and come to the stage? Sean DeRocco. Valeria Acuna Sierra. Helena Afawak. Joshua Oluwapalomi Ashanuga. Derek Avery. Madison Bates. Fithal Behar Padilla. Ran Gabriel Mujarez Buenaventura. Emily Cecilia Clement. Jackson Duty. Panth Doshi. Sarah Adriana Gilbertson. Grayson Hesh. Amir Horton. Omar Khalid Kareem. Michaela Kaufman. Rachel Kelly. Faizan Muhammad Khan. Catherine Klecker. Madura Managoli. Anwalika Malakwu. Akil Patel. Josal Patel. Hey. Rafael Angelo Parayawan. Pranav Ramanan. Dean Rector. Alec Reuter. Lindsay Rivers. Rosa Soto. Cindy Doe. Niketh Valunki. Antonice Wade. George Wesley IV. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemical and Life Science Engineering please rise and come to the stage?
No problem.
Abdullah Al-Marzouk. Abdullah Alawasain. Sarah Atasi. Yasmin Bullock. Imani Shernay Bynum. Tegan Carr. Gabriel Dickey. Enoch Comber. Jay Copeland. Eric Edusi. Peter Fallman. Ewan Graham. Kyle Holstein. Drew Hess. Maria Victoria Lopez Del Pino. Kimberly Elizabeth Cox. Michael Award Cox. Brittany Deanne Corner. Shrevia Davala. Brenda Joseline Mauricio Arce. Samuel Austin Mellichamp.
Sam, well done. Anna doesn't know you. I'm going to introduce you.
Anna Blessing Mary Fair. Brian Miller.
Ryan.
Justin, excuse me, Justin Moore. Sarah Murillo.
Sarah, well done.
Jimmy Wynn.
Jimmy.
Christina Marie Fab.
Christina.
Antonio Radia.
Antonia.
Bu Trin.
You. Congratulations.
Rico Jarrell Rivera.
Okay. Good job. Congratulations.
Christian Rolofsky.
Listen. Congratulations.
Ratib Studa.
The team. Congratulations.
Jordan Taylor.
Jordan. Congratulations.
Valerie Tran.
Valerie.
Sean Vora.
Sean.
So you're already here, but I'm going to call you anyway. Will the candidates for the degree of a Bachelor of Science, for the degree of Post-Baccalaureate Certificate in Computer Science and the degree and the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, please rise and come to the stage. You're here. Rachel Lavina Wazalewski. Rosalind Afanu. Hassan Alvi. Murray Antar. Jared Artis. Jason Ball. Austin Beggs. Ian Burns. Jack Burns. Gabe Chambers. Paul Frederick Cochran Jr. Oscar Cordova. Cole Delinsky. Ashley Dizon. Nathaniel Ikenim. Steele Farnsworth. Richard Foggio. Paul Guller. Amelia Guthrie. Jackson Wheeler Hambridge. Jamel Hendricks. Brian Hildrup. Jalen Breon Holmes. Hakizimana Jean Marie. Aiden Cairns. Sabrina Kundu. Matthew Liu. Muhammad Mahmood. Padram Maleki. Tyler McNear. Javier Morera. Philippe Moro. Harshkumar Patel. Vineet Elpash Kumar Patel. Thomas Perkins. Suzanne Prince. Trisha Quiroga Sanchez. Chris Randall. Tanya Ravi. Fidel Ibarle Rodriguez III. Daniel Ruiz. Evan Scott. Max Sappho. Divya Srivatsava. Devin Civic. Megan Spires. Byron Stearns. Ebenezer Tessima. Hope Toulon. Alex James Trainum. Tan Timothy Tran. Noah Edward Weingan. Cannon West. Austin Whitby. Basima Zafar. Dean Boyan and Dean Triplett, it is my honor and my great esteemed pleasure to introduce and give back to you the class of 20 and 21. Congratulations.
A few housekeeping notes. We asked before Dean Boyan come up, we want to make a few announcements. Forgive me. As the platform party leaves, the graduates will follow, and we ask the attendees, the guests, the families to just pause your exit until everyone is out of the theater. We also ask that you do not congregate in the theater, that you meet with your graduates across the street. We also understand, because of the awkwardness of what we had to deal with today, we've set up 2 photo booth locations. One is in West Hall, it's in the atrium, and the other is in East Hall, it's in the atrium. That photo booth location looks very similar to what you see on your right-hand side. and those doors will be open until 4 o'clock. So if you want to get those photo opportunities, you have a pretty brief time to do it. I would like to bring Dean Boyne back to the podium to give us parting remarks. Thank you.
I can't remember. I was so excited if he told you that you're not to congregate inside the lobby, but walk across over to Monroe Park and hang there. Did you say that? Okay, maybe he said that. I just got all excited. I'd like to do one thing that I was remiss in the first half of the college graduated this morning. I never get tired of hearing Miss Rivers read those names. What a star she is. Can you believe that? Way to go, J. Riv. All right. One last shout out to your advisors who are like ranked out across the back. And you may have noticed that one of the graduates this year is one of the people that helped recruit you here. That is Rachel Roslewski. And she is very, very proud because she watched all of you matriculate. So Rachel, shout out to you. To the advisors, a shout out to you. Now, you are finally, really and truly, absolutely, without question, RAM engineers. So as RAM engineers, we all know what we got to do. Our last act today before we leave the building is to say, "Go Rams!" All right. All right. All right, so we are marching out. Is that it? We're done? We're ready to go? The music, please. We're gone.